Well, immediately when I came in here, they told me we want you to come in here and compete with Vad Lee. He transferred from Georgia Tech. He's a very talented player, but we want you to push him and compete with him for a spot. And I got out to practice and I saw Vad practice, and I kind of quickly figured out that I wasn't going to be competing for that spot. I definitely love the opportunity to be here with Vad. I've learned a lot from him. The way I've learned to play in big games is from watching Vad Lee play. There's nothing special you do in those moments. You just be yourself, and it's definitely something I learned from Vad.
JMU's homecoming game against Richmond was so big of a matchup that ESPN's College Game Day visited Harrisonburg that week.
And you could see Vad Lee clearly in a lot of pain.
Lee went down with a season-ending foot injury, forcing Brian Shore to step onto a big stage himself.
I think the first thing that went through my head was, I have to do everything I can to give our team the opportunity to win. The team looks to you, you have to step up, and I don't mind being thrown to the fire like that.
Shore's efforts weren't enough to beat the Spiders, but he started the final 4 games of his sophomore campaign, which ended in the second round of the FCS playoffs. A month later, Shore was back in football limbo.
Coach, you ever come on up here? This is your new Bobcat football coach, everybody.
I think, in those 3 weeks, I really just thought about having faith. And one thing, I threw my 2 cents in there was, it doesn't really matter who coaches us. We have a good group of guys, and whoever coaches us is going to have a good opportunity to be successful. And
after Mike Houston's first spring with JMU, Shore was on track to be the starting quarterback. But in the summer, the head coach brought in Connor Mitch, a transfer out of South Carolina. His mere presence at practice was enough to motivate the incumbent.
You just go out there and you hope that you prepare the best that you can, and you do everything you can to make sure that that you're the best version of yourself out there. And that's something that I really focused on going through camp. I didn't watch to make sure how he was doing. I just kind of I put my head down and did everything I could each day to try and make our team better.
Shore beat Mitch for the starting role. He led the Dukes to an 8-1 start, including a revenge victory over Richmond. But in Week 11 at Villanova, with a conference title on the line, a backup QB had to step up for a starter once again. This time it was Shore that went down with an injury.
When I was in the sling and in the locker room at Villanova, and the doctor told me your collarbone's broken, I immediately thought well that's the end of my season right there. And I had a couple minutes to feel sorry for myself. I had to get back on the field and remember that we had a true freshman out there playing arguably the best defense in the country.
Shore was only sidelined for 3 weeks. The Dukes went on to win the Colonial title and earn a first-round bye in the playoffs, enough time for Shore to heal and come back for the postseason. The rest, you could say, is history.
When did you realize all of the work it took and the path you had to travel to lift that trophy? When did that realization come for you?
I think it came to me on the field. Everything really felt real in that moment, just to have all of JMU Nation storm the field and to look around and see people I don't even know. All that stuff, it all hit me. Everything we put into it, really mattered in that moment to us. And, when you get a taste of success like that, you want more. I can remember, holding up the trophy and then, giving it back to coach and then thinking, how can I get back to this moment? And, I think that's something that motivated us through the summer and through last spring.
Shore's success was never a sure thing. His path as an underdog saw moments of doubt, motivation, and suffering. Now, as a favorite to win, Shore looks back on that road with a smile.
That made me who I am today. I'm confident out there because of, things that I've gone through, I've gone through them. And you're only better when you go through things like that. And for me, I think, going through those things, I've seen how far that I've come. And so when I look and have my goals for the future, I feel confident about where I'm going now.